So we have planted, right? We have the soil, right? The harvest, the tilling of it, right? The production of it, and then we have the planting of the seeds, which is the rehearsals, and then we have the planting of the seed, which is the production meeting, and then we had the watering, which is the rehearsal, which we had a long talk about. What comes next?
Shooting.
What?
Fertilizer.
Shooting or harvesting. I call it harvesting. This is when we have, now we're on film, now we're on set. Rehearsals are done. Now it's time to shoot that film. And they have all the preparation they needed to do this, right? Hopefully you've had at least, hopefully, I mean, I know sometimes you don't have it, the luxury of it, but a month to rehearse, hopefully, maybe, okay? The actor should be well enough versed with their character and their lines to know what to do, okay? If they don't, then again, you hired the wrong actors. Okay, so during the filming of it, okay, the director's role now becomes, this is how he wants the film to look. This is, right? You've already gone through the process of all the questions and answers and all that. Now it's time for me to get this film out. Okay, so if someone does a scene and they say cut, okay, what shouldn't you do? Okay, Cedric and Spencer, you just did a scene for me. And action, you guys did it, and then cut. Okay, what should I not say? Let's do it again from the top. Okay, ready? Here we go. Action. Because what did I just do? I didn't give them anything. What you're going to get now is the exact same thing you got in take one. So why do take two? Right? So, if something works, just like in rehearsal, that was great, Cedric. Remember in rehearsal when you did that one thing with him? Do it again. Because that really did kick him into gear to give you, right? You kind of talk to them. Or, Cedric, that's great. Just pull back just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. The emotion's great, but just it's reading too much on the camera. Just pull back just a bit, okay? And then you can use Dean's number system. You're a 5, can make it a 3, right? Okay, a little bit, I got it. Number system, got it? Okay, but you tell them why you're doing it again. I mean, after, of course, take 14, I don't know. Sometimes you guys, I don't understand, like, take 109. I'm like, seriously? Really? But, you, at least at the beginning time, you really want to make sure that you're always getting something new in that take. You always want something new in that take, because then it's like if you're not getting anything new, you might as well stop at take 1 or take 3 or whatever it is. Okay, so you want to, if something is working, you let them know and why. You always do that. If something's working, it's great, just like in rehearsal. Great, do it again. We're gonna do it again. Keep that intensity up. Here we go. Action. Or Spencer, bring it a little bit more. Okay, I'm losing you. He's winning out right now. I'm losing you in this scene. Bump it up a bit. Okay. Right, you're just giving them something to work with, okay? And then again, if it's not working, you give them a visual or something that they can relate to. When you are on the set and you're preparing, keep talking to a minimum. I know we had a little discussion on this on TCF about should the crew members talk on set while an actor prepares or something like that. It's this big discussion. And my take is this. First of all, the actors should not be on the set while you are preparing the set. So they should be somewhere else working on their lines or in their trailer if they have one or wherever. They should not be on the set while the director and the DP are running their test footage of where they want for the scene to be. Okay? And the actors, and you guys can joke all you want, but the minute the actors come on stage, you go, okay, ready for actors, bring on the actors. Actors come in, there should be no more joking. They're in character, and you should respect that. You should respect the actor. Okay? I know for me personally that, sometimes I can talk to someone on a set, being in character or whatever, but sometimes I don't want to be talked to. I might actually, like Sylvester said, I might have a very emotional scene coming up. And I really don't give a damn right now that you had pork for dinner last night. I don't. I want to work on my character. I want to come in there and be ready to do it so I can give the best to my director. Okay? So as a director, your job is to make sure that everyone is like, when the actors come on set, everything is down to only what we need to talk about on the set, lights, or, the basic talk. I'm not saying you shouldn't talk. I'm saying keep the fun, clever banter off the set until cut has happened and that scene is done and the actors are going back. Yes?
What do you tell your crew members if an actor does, like say to the boom operator, what do you think? What do you tell the boom operator or the crew member?
Well, first of all, first of all, an actor should never ask another person what they thought. This is a director. If it's a friend of theirs, I can say, yeah, what do you think? If it's a friend, then say, yeah, I thought it was great. But asking anyone else, they can give, I would give the standard, have them say, oh, it looked fine to me. I'm not really sure, ask the director, Always refer, who's in charge of the show? The director. The actor says, what do you think? Oh yeah, it looked fine to me, it's great. But if you want, I'm not really sure, if you really want to know, I guess actually ask the director. They can give they should not give them notes.
Yeah.
By any stretch of the imagination. The boom operator should not say, it was really good. I thought you were kind of big though. I think I was a little bit smaller. Now, what the boom guy can say is, that was fine, but you know what? You're blowing out my sound. So I'll talk to the director, we need to figure something out. And then what happens is, the boom guy talks to the director, and then the director says to the actor, okay, you blew out see, it always goes to the director. The director gives the cues to everyone, right? The sound person shouldn't say, oh, you're too loud, lower your voice. No, that's the director's job. Okay, so all your crew should know that, okay? Doesn't matter. The only one who gives notes is the director. Now, the DP, he can say something like, run a little slower, you're getting out of frame. Because it has to do with the frame. And he's not giving an actual acting note. As long as it has to do with the frame and the filming of it, the DP can say something. But when it comes to any sort of the acting aspect of it, the director is in charge. Period. I'm sorry, DP. Director of Photography. Sorry, I didn't know that. Now, I was talking to Dean about this. This is where I think, personally, you should have an acting coach on set. And I'll tell you why. Because all that downtime, right? The director, let's say that during rehearsal something was not working out right, or things weren't, kind of gelling or whatever, and now you're on the set and you're still kind of worried about this one scene, whatever. You have your acting coach, and they come in and you say, okay, here's what's going on. Okay, Tanner, and I go, yeah, and you go, okay, so they have this love scene going on. It's happening. I'm not quite feeling the chemistry, and they have to have chemistry. And now we're filming. I'm a little worried. Can you kind of work with them a little bit, on your downtime, their downtime? Great. So while you're setting up for the next scene, which takes about a half hour usually, I'm working with your actors. I'm kind of prepping them. I'm doing what I'm doing with you. I'm kind of like, as if, this and that, let me see. I'm not changing the way that the director wants the scene. He's already told me I need to be this and this and this and this. I'm taking what he's saying to me and saying, okay, and translating it to them. Okay? It helps because it's one less thing for the director to worry about. He's got so much to worry about, he's not going to have time to coach his actors. You can do it during rehearsals because it's rehearsals, but when it's time for the filming, you're too busy doing other stuff. So you need to have someone to delegate it to, and that's where the acting coach comes in. They come in also to read the lines with them, to have someone to run up the lines. Maybe, Dean is working on, with the sound guy or whatever, or maybe they're doing the scene with Seth. Seth's on stage and he's in front of the camera, and Dean's working with him. But we still have Claudia, who's coming up in the next scene. I need him to run lines with him. Oh, Tanner, you're the acting coach. Can you run lines with? Sure can. That's my job. That's what they do. They're to make the director's job easier and to facilitate the needs the director wants from the actors on set, you know. And there are other, you know, and there's also things is the director can also use the acting coach during the scene because they can say to the acting coach, how did that look, acting wise? Because maybe they don't. Maybe the director doesn't really know much about acting. Like, you know, maybe he didn't catch something. Because the director's looking at so many things at once. He's looking at that leaf blowing across the thing as the film is going, and that sound. He's hearing a sound, you know, that he's wondering now. He's not always watching the actors, you know. I can give a good example of something when I thought an acting coach was needed, and it's not to do with acting itself. But I was on set for a film, and it actually it was very well done production so far. I mean, I was not in no way am I saying this was a bad production at all. Okay, but I noticed something that happened. There was a scene where this person is shooting an arrow at someone. Okay, and then they grab the next arrow. They don't have time to get it in the bow, and they decide to attack the person, which is great. And you know, but what happened was they were doing it. The actor did a great job, but what we were missing was the beat between oh shit, oh fuck, right? There's that moment. There's that moment when you realize I can't get it in. I don't have time to get it in. I have to attack him with my fists. And we were missing that. There was that beat, that moment, and I kept noticing it. And I actually pointed out to someone who I'm friends with, who's an actor as well. I said, "Did you notice that?" And they're like, "Yeah." But they did the scene, or they did the shot, I think 6 times, and never once did I hear the director say to that person, "I'm missing that moment of realization that you're screwed." So it didn't translate. So all they got were 6 scenes of the same thing, right? And that's when an acting coach could have said, "Dean, do you notice that there's not that moment between?" And then he could say, "Oh, that's okay. I want it like that." Like, okay. But it's something, you know. Again, it's just there. Just, you know, I'm noticing that there's that beat that's not there, right? And he might go, "Oh, God, I never thought about that. You're right. I'm not seeing that moment, that click moment." Okay, so that's why I suggest having an acting coach on stage or on stage. I keep saying that on set. It's because, you know, it's an extra pair of eyes who understands acting, who's going to be looking for those things that the director would probably be looking for too. Okay, and then one last thing is, when you're directing them on, or when you're running the filming of the set shooting, you know, don't be afraid to try something different, even if you didn't do it like that in rehearsal. You know, I might try with something where I go, you know, "Sylvester, this time when you say, 'Honey, I'm not cheating on you,' can you not look at her? Just try not looking at her this time. I just want to see how that looks." Right? And then it might not work or it might not work. It might work or who knows. But don't be afraid if it comes into your mind. Now, don't make changes at every, okay, now try this time. Now, you're shooting, okay, you don't have time for all these different changes. That should have been a rehearsal. But 1 or 2 changes every now and then, great, it might make something happen, okay? So you might say, or I might say to you, "Listen, Uncle Gumby, don't lose your temper right away. I know I told you to hit that arc up there, but can I see that just like, can you not lose it a hair? Hold it a hair longer before you explode. Hair longer, okay?" And that's okay, right? So it's okay to give them a visual, but talk to your actors even when you're shooting, okay? It doesn't stop at rehearsals. And then, of course, then that's it. There's the shooting is done, right? Now, there's some things. Don't be afraid to use the as if with your actors, okay? If you don't have an acting coach on stage, or I keep saying on stage, if you don't have your acting coach on set, don't be afraid to use the as if with them, because as if is so important. And it just gives, it makes it almost seem real when you say it's as if you're putting them in it as opposed to, do it like you're mad. It's as if you need that last donut, and if you don't get it, you're gonna go into diabetic shock and die. It's like, you give them something to work off of. I keep saying that over and over again because a lot of directors don't do that, right? So